Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I would say we are on Swan Survival, but we are not. Oh, how interesting. We are actually in 1.18 on a single player world. And we came in here with creative mode on just so that we can check it out and do a little bit of a preview today instead of our normal Swan Survival series. So it looks like we have a Stony Beach, which is one of the new biomes. In 1.18 we can see several stony beaches, and we've got some just scattered ore throughout, which is that's all right. That makes it kind of nice if you were just starting out. I can grab some iron, some coal, copper if I needed that right away. Lucky spawn here. This spawn just happens to be right next to a ruined portal with some obsidian in it. No tools really, but that's cool. There's probably a block of gold hidden underneath. But let's take a look and see where we're at. Just to show, we're in snapshot 21W39A, which just came out yesterday. And then we have our render distance turned all the way up to maximum so that we can take advantage of seeing what is around us. It looks like from a spawn point, we have Stony Beach, we have some islands, oceans. Looks like we've got some an ice or yes, iceberg biome, cold biome, some small taiga forests. Should have drank water first. We will cut that out. I really do like the fact that biomes are more interspersed and they make sense. I mean, just this right here. Here we have a small little taiga with mega taiga mixed in, just a small little one, and it looks really neat. I like that. We've got some dark oak forests, some birch forests. Oh, we've got a watchtower or a I forget what they're called. Anyways, we got a tower right near spawn. And this is the new generation too. If you've noticed, what is different? Just looking at this area here, besides of course the different biomes, we got a jungle over there, a small jungle, savanna. But look at the way the land is formed. The rivers you will find in 1.18 are nice and large. They look like rivers with little stones in some cases, little islands in them, and they go through. And then when you have the land itself, it's just not up and down, up and down, up and down. Normally, if you were in a birch forest or even, a dark roofed forest or an oak forest, really rough up and down terrain. No, instead it's even. It looks like it's a hill. It comes up from the rivers, and then when you have mountains or hills, these are hills. You have hills. This one happens to have a little cave entrance. We'll explore some of those here shortly. To take a look, we'll go into spectator mode and see what the underground looks like. Got a nice little village here, not too far from the tower. Those guys are going to be in trouble. Um, and yeah, I'm loving the terrain generation and the way it really works out. Let's just go land and go into a fast trot here. Oh, we messed up that. Uh, just so we can fly faster. Oh, there's a cool cave entrance. Look at that. Oh, that's neat. Goes way down too. Oh, and look at this. We've got a little bit of Badlands coming in right over here. But isn't this cool? Great spawn point. But this is all the worlds that I've been in that, you've got these little terrain biomes and they make sense. Hot biomes with hot biomes, cold biomes with cold biomes. Um, and they just match up really well. Uh, I've got the clouds turned on. Remember in 1.18, the clouds are almost 60 blocks higher than they used to be in the world. Uh, Little bamboo forest there. We'll just circle around, see what we can find. We've got another little ruined portal there. We'll check underground here in a minute because caves and mountains update. Caves and cliffs update. That's what you would expect. But the rivers, like I said, nice and wide, deep channels, as we can see there, as the server catches up with my speed of rendering as I'm flying here. It's doing a pretty good job. That's what I've noticed too about 1.18. Despite all of the changes, the height changes, the complexity of the caves and everything, um, it does a really good job rendering it up. Look at this just right here. I just want to point this out. I know it's hard to see with the jungle trees and all the growth, but see, here we have the lowlands along the river, and then you've got this just, you got a nice mountain. Now in 1.17 or other versions, you'd have a hill here and a hill here and a hill here and a deep valley here and a hill here. It'd be all mixed up. But instead you've got a nice divider here where you can tell this is a mountain, this is a hill. It's different. It really stands out. And that's what I really like about it. We slowed down. Let's speed up again. I could turn my fly speed up, but we'll just do this instead. It's easy enough to do. I want to see if we can find some large actual mountains so that we can see some of the differences. Look at the plains biome. See how it's different as well? Of course, we've still got the caves in it. That's a nice deep cave, hole there. Look at this one over here. Wow. But even just the top terrain, it looks more smooth, like it's a plain. Now this one's a little odd, 'cause it's got this floating island here in the middle of it. Now that's kind of odd. You wouldn't expect that. It's just floating dirt right here. But I mean, look at this cave. I mean, my goodness. Isn't this awesome? You come flying into it if you have your elytra and see how big it is. You remember how small caves are, right? This one goes over to here. Let's go check out the other direction. Let's see where it goes. And I've got it on Moody. So, the lighting is well dispersed with the glow liking and lichen and moss. Um, this is just an ordinary, ordinary cave. Nothing special. No, looks like special stuff. Oh, look at this. Goes into another one with the platforming lakes. Look at that. You got this big cavern here with the lake, and then it falls and it comes down into a deeper cavern. Oh, this is cool. Now, later when we're looking, I'll get some night vision turned on, but I just want to look at it as is. Now, remember, mobs only spawn where there's zero light. So right here, they're spawning, but like in sections over there and over here, they're not because there's light. Wow, look at this. And this cave isn't anything special. This is just a ordinary cave. There's no, it's not a dripstone cave. It's not like the moss caves. Uh, or anything like that. It's just an ordinary cave. And we're down here already at -14. Remember, the world goes to -60 now. Oh, now look at this mine shaft over here. See, look at this huge room. Can you imagine what you can do with this room? And then in this case, we've got this mine shaft, and look how it's built out. It's either hanging from the ceiling or it's on supports right here, where we've got these platforms. Now that is cool. Can you imagine? There's a geode sitting right here in the middle of the cave. I mean, wow. This is what and we're in the same cave that we started in. We're just going through. We've got a big pillar here. Here it's going to go even further down. We've got another great big pillar kind of holding up the roof. Um, And then we've got some smaller caves that dissect and go off in different directions over here. And then it continues, this direction. This is the possibilities of what we're going to be able to build. Oh, and my goodness, look at this. We come down underneath this one huge section and we come into this huge lava lake. Again, this isn't the fancy type caves, dripstone and all that. It's just an ordinary cave. But that is just spectacular. The difference in how it generates and what's coming together as far as a cave. It's probably dark on the screen now. I'm just going through this little tunnel. Okay, we're in. All right, game mode. If I can spell spectator. Let's take a look. So here's cave generation. Well, I should have, let's go into this big cave for a second. Can't remember all the commands, so we'll just do this manually. Let's get a potion of night vision. Since we're down here, we'll look for mountains in a moment. Now let's go back to spectator. All right. So, I mean, look at the caves the way they are. You don't have these small itty bitty caves anymore. You have these nice big paths, and they're massive. These huge rooms. And what you could build in these rooms, your bases, entire cities in these locations. That would just be awesome. Let's find some dripstone caves and some others. This area seems to be ordinary cave generation, which is totally awesome. No complaints at all. Looks like we've got a lush cave over here. Let's go check out the lush cave. Comes down from the surface. So we'll just start over here at the surface. And boom. Okay, so it looks like it's a little separated from the surface. But anyways, so here's a lush cave. You know, where it's coming down, you've got all kinds of different blocks. These are the new, it's a new sand type block. I forget what it is. Or maybe that's clay. Could be clay. Comes down into a little opening, into a regular cave. So that one's kind of small. But we've got more lush caves throughout. So these will have the glowberries and everything, you know, that you can eat food underground. You know, you got your glowberries here. Tons of moss blocks. Very neat. These are small ones. I've seen some gigantic lush caves that look really cool, along with dripstone. We'll continue. Let's see if we can fly. Let's see if we can fly through the terrain here and find some larger ones. Looks like we've got some high mountains, some snow mountains up above. Let's go take a look too while we're going out in this direction looking for some more caves. Let's just pop up to the surface and take a look at this little snow biome. Oh, there's another tower. Yeah, see how we don't have desert right next to us or anything as well? You know, that makes a big difference. Um, let's just let the world catch up. I've got a pretty good computer and it is doing a good job. We are flying around loading tons of chunks all at once. So I mean that's pretty challenging on any machine. But the server is doing a really good job at it. Um, actually, it's not a server, my PC. It's just, you know, it is doing a good job at it. This is cool. All right, so we need to find some more caves. Let's just randomly TP somewhere. We don't need to be 1,000 blocks high in the atmosphere. All right, it'll take a second for it to load in as we moved out. Oh, it looks like we loaded inside a mountain right in a dripstone cave. Cool. Now look at this. Now this is kind of just an odd dripstone cave. You've got an underground aquifer, and you've got these huge dripstone columns expanding down all the way. Now this one's underwater, and this is the other neat thing about these underwater caves too, is wherever you have these underwater aquifers, randomly dispersed will be magma blocks so that you can get oxygen as you are swimming through these, which is really cool. Let's come take a look at a. Looks like all of these are aquifer dripstone caves. Let's see if we can take a look around. Yeah, but look at these dripstone caves down here. So just like the other one, except this is dripstone cave. I mean, look at the columns, the way they form. Um, I mean, the way it's all interspersed here, we have a mine shaft that sticks out into it. It's just cool. And then you've got these little lakes, and see how they spill over into lower levels. Wow, look at the columns in this place. And then that mine shaft that's just hanging from the ceiling up there. That is, this is awesome. See, look at this, how big of space this is, and then all of these columns. Oh, wow. Look at this. This is awesome. Oh, look at this mine shaft, this hanging mine shaft over here above the lava lake. Oh, wow. Now that is cool. I mean, there's nothing, literally nothing in the mine shaft. They just hung it all over the place, but I mean, that is neat. Um, the way it just hangs. But then these massive dripstone columns coming down amongst the small ones as we just fly along. All of this space, there is just so much that we're going to be able to do and explore in these worlds with the variety and how big they are, and everything that comes in, even the underwater, the aquifer caves. These are all aquifer caves over here, um, to where we're underwater. There's going to be so much you could do with this, from an adventuring and creation standpoint, of what you could do. Going to be just totally awesome. Let's come up to the surface. Oh, and I really like areas like this. Look, we've got this nice valley here, and then we've got these hills and mountains and rivers on both sides that just they look right. They look like hills and valleys and rivers. The only thing we haven't really discovered yet is some high mountains. So let's go ahead and find some. Um, we'll fly around for a moment. Oops. Let's change our game mode. There's a massive hole. Cool. All right, let's go find some mountains. This looks like a high meadow over here with a meadow village. There's some snow over here. We might have some high peaks. Yeah, this is a meadow biome with a village. There's a lone tree in the meadow biome. Probably has a beehive on it, if we looked. Let's see. So this is a little bit of a snow peak, just a low hill with snow on it. Transitioning from the forest and meadows into the ice biomes and some cold stony beaches and ice lakes. Much better in the whole terrain generation and the way it all works out. Very, very, very pleased with how all of that works. Okay, looks like we're going to come into some ice over here as my potion wears off. Let's let it load up. I'm going to pause the video for a moment. I'm going to fly around and find some high mountains, and then we'll showcase those. So I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We found our first one, and notice here where we're at. We're at a river, right? And we're in a deep canyon. And as we're coming up this river, there's this nice waterfall that ends it over here. That just is cool. And then up here, if we go out of the canyon, we have a meadow with a nice little village here on the edge of the meadow next to the river. And then we go up into this mountainous region. And so over here we have, some low ice cap mountains, and here we have some higher ice cap mountains. And these aren't the highest at all, but we're getting closer to the cloud level. So this is ice cap, as you can see here. And I imagine we have some of that powdered snow in here somewhere too, if we look for it. Who knows? Probably. You remember that's a new thing where you can sink into it. You can't get it naturally in 1.17, but in 1.18 you can. Not seeing any. But we've got this ridge line of peaks here. with a little bit of snow cap. Now, these obviously aren't super high yet, but I mean, look at the contrast. You know, we've got these deep valleys with these rivers and lakes. You know, here's a lake down there going into a cave right there. Um, and these huge cliffs, you know, and these mountains here, if we come up, let's say those peaks there, you know, they're already at 187. So that's pretty high. It looks like we've got some more this direction. So let's fly over here. I know they go a lot higher. I'd like to find some big ones. So we're going to fly around and do that. We may need to pause the video again um, just to fly around and see if we can find some and stuff. Let's see. Now it looks like we're getting into some lower lands over here and more forests. But even in these lower lands where you have like this right here, you have this mountain ridge coming up, you know, with the valleys on both sides. It's awesome terrain generation. They've done a really good job at making Minecraft look more realistic and natural in how the mountains and hills generate, and even in how the lower lying lands um, spawn and come to be. So really nice. Okay, looks like we're finding another ocean. All right, I'm going to continue flying around. We're going to find some other bigger mountains so that we can show them off on this video. So I'll be right back. All right, we are back, and look at what we may have found just flying along here. The beginning of a mountain that definitely goes above the cloud levels. Around it, we have forest lands, as you can see. We've got some meadows and meadowlands over there. So we've got some deep caves. Looks like we've got some other sort of, you know, large mountain over there. Let's take a look at what we can find. So this one, the peak here is above the cloud level, so we know it is really high. Look at this village coming all the way up the mountain. And then you got this, like, this is a ski cabin over here on the very edge with the villager. You know, does he have his skis? You know, where's the little chimney for the ski cabin? That that's funny. I mean, sometimes Minecraft can be a little weird with village placement. This one, the village at the base of the mountain, it looks okay, but then the little paths coming up kind of make it look odd. Even the little cabin up here is okay. So yeah, if we look at this highest peak here, this is at 203. And you've got this high mountain here. Looks like we've got more this direction, and I know we have more the other direction. Let's go take a look. Maybe we can find some even higher ones. Got some ice caves, looks like. Remember, those are a thing now as well. Not all mountains, of course, are capped with snow and ice as well. If you're in a hot biome, you can find them with no snow and ice, just rock and different things, and even calcite and stuff. Looks like we don't have any others. We got some deep river valleys over here. I'm just going to increase our speed. There we go. Let's go along this range. Maybe we can find something even higher. I'm hoping. This one's okay. It's got some neat terrain around it. Not my favorite mountain yet. I'd like to find something a little bit larger, higher. I know there's much higher, much bigger. Um, they are hard to find. I've been flying around a lot to try to find these, but they do stand out when you find them. You know, it's like Lord of the Rings, the Lonely Mountain. You see this peak just standing up, you know, in the middle of nowhere. Um, I do think they need to work on their village placement a little bit more. Here's another one of these that just kind of goes over the mountain and makes it look really odd. I think a high mountain village would be cool, a new village type or something, which, you know, they haven't announced that there is such a thing, but I think that could be cool. But definitely, I think that's a bug a little bit that they need to fix just slightly. Looks like we've got some hills over here. Nothing spectacular standing out. Um, my machine's doing pretty good job at keeping up with rendering out as far as it can, but still, it's takes a while to find. I might try some of the locate biome commands and see if I can find some of the mountains that way. I just got to look up all the different names of the official names to find them. All right, well, I'm gonna fly around some more. We're almost up on our time for the video, but I want to find a couple more mountains to point out. Here's one in a little desert peak. That's kind of cool. All sand sticking out. Deserts should be a lot different now too, the way they generate. There shouldn't be just water everywhere in the desert. It looks like this is a really high desert. Look at how high it is. That's pretty cool. Honestly, you got that really high desert there. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. We've got some high savanna hills over here. These are existed before, so nothing spectacularly new there, but never know. We might find some really big ones. No, looks like we're just gonna end out into the ocean here. All right, well, let me continue looking. We're gonna find something. We'll be right back. Can you imagine, wandering through the meadows and forests and then looking around you and seeing that? That just looks cool. But then can you imagine it further and turn around and see that? Now, by far, this is the coolest mountain I've seen so far in my search here. I've been searching for about 15 minutes so far. Um, Definitely extends above the clouds. Comes up. We've got the stone covered by snow. There's no ice on this one. It's just pure snow. Um, and we're popping clear up here to that one's even higher, but we're at 205 right here. But I mean, look at that valley below. Imagine creating a kingdom down there, and then it's surrounded by all these different peaks. And there's more over here. I saw. If I fly this way, I saw more mountains coming up. This one looks even higher. Look at it. Just extend up. It's still not the highest that exists by far, but I mean, what a peak. This deep valley around it. There's more over there. This one has ice on it, so like glacier-like. Just a little mountain standing up here on its own. That's pretty cool. um, by far, that's pretty neat when we look at the possible generation uh, out here in the world. Let's go to another spot. We're using our commands. There we go. Lofty Peaks. Nearest one is 2 blocks away. Oh, we just happen to be right on it. This doesn't look very lofty to me. In fact, it looks downright pretty low. But maybe there's something nearby if we just let it generate in. We'll try the Stony Peaks next. Oh, this one might be a Stony Peak right here, in fact. Yeah, this is a Stony Peak biome. So kind of similar, this one has snow on it, but similar to the others, you get high enough and it just turns to stone, clear up at the top of the mountain. Not too bad, but not too great either. Oh, here's a nice peak over here. I think this is probably the highest one we've come across yet. Um, Definitely cool though. I'm excited to really start exploring and finding, the most awesome mountains out there and where they could be. Um, I'm pretty sure we'll find, all kinds of stuff. If we just come out further, let's go here. And generate. Oops, wrong button. This one's not as lofty, but maybe there's something around it or something as it loads in. It's difficult to find these for sure. They're not, I mean, they are spread out. They're not everywhere. I would imagine it depends on the world type and that you can find um, large biomes with huge areas of mountains and stuff. Um, but mostly I've found them, they've been like some of the ones you've seen where it's surrounded by low-lying forests and high meadows, and then you have this, single peak or a set of peaks just standing out, which is really cool, by the way. I like that. But I'd like to see some larger ones um, that might, exist in the world. And so far, we're not having the best of luck finding a really cool one, but we are finding some. We'll let this load. Here, this one's loading in. Looks like to be just down here. There might be some high ones. Any powdered snow? I'm not seeing any. You can usually tell because it has a different top than this. There's this little snow piled up on it, but I'm not seeing powdered snow here. Yeah, this one's kind of just on its own. Oh, well, I got another peak over here. Well, I know we're out of time. I've probably gone well over time. Oh, wow, this one is, look at this one come up really high. It's not a huge mountain. It's just a series of these jagged peaks all around right here. What are we at? 232. There might be some higher ones right over here too. Oh, yep. Look at this. We found our mega peak over here. This one's higher. Not by a lot, but still it's higher. We'll fly over to it really quick with Mr. Goat that's sitting here on top of the peak all by himself. How high are you, Mr. Goat? 256. Oops, I found a hole. And then look at the low-lying valley down there on that side. On this side, we've got forests. I mean, that is one thing to say, though, is that just the generation, if I'm clear out here um, in this valley, we got another peak over here. Cool. This one has a portal on top of it. See it right there? But if I'm over here and, I'm down here, I'm not even at sea level. Sea level's clear down there still, right? I mean, I'm already at 100 blocks. And then look, we've got these giant peaks off in the background. You could create some really neat stuff in this really nice builds. That is cool. Well, with that, everybody, I'm going to thank you for joining today on our little exploration of 1.18 on my single player, just to look around and see what we could find. We found a lot of really cool stuff, awesome caves, awesome mountains. There's going to be so much to do in 1.18 on the Pern server when it uploads, as well as the Swan server, and very excited to see what can happen and what everybody will do. So thank you for joining me today and have a great day. See you in the next video.